My name is Elisa, and I'm about to tell you something I never thought I'd share publicly. I had just given birth. I was still in the hospital. My son Noah was the most beautiful, most wanted baby in the world. But at the same time, I felt betrayed and abandoned because I wasn't the perfect woman he wanted anymore. He didn't expect that I would get my revenge in the best way possible. I let him live his life while I built mine. I rebuilt everything alone with a small child. I got my own company, and when he saw that I rose again without depending on him emotionally, he wanted to come back. He begged for forgiveness, but I didn't want him anymore. If you're someone who loves stories, revelations, and revenge, hit that subscribe button right now. Life surprises us in ways we never see coming, right? And when disappointment comes from someone you never imagined would hurt you, it hits different. It's like the ground just disappears under your feet. For love, we do crazy things. We ignore red flags, we convince ourselves everything's fine when it's clearly not. But sometimes you need that reality check to stand back up and realize you only need yourself to be okay. Let me take you back to the beginning, back when I thought I had everything figured out. I met Ricardo when I was 23. He was 28, confident, successful, the kind of guy who walked into a room and everyone noticed. I was working at a small marketing agency, and he came in as a client. Our eyes met during a presentation, and I swear, something just clicked. He asked me out that same week. I said yes without thinking twice. The first year was like a dream. Ricardo treated me like a queen. Fancy dinners, weekend trips, thoughtful gifts. He made me feel special in a way no one ever had. My friends were jealous. My mom adored him. Everyone said we were the perfect couple. And I believed it. God, I really believed it. We got married 2 years later. The wedding was beautiful. Everything I ever wanted. White dress, flowers everywhere, all our family and friends celebrating with us. I remember looking at Ricardo during our vows and thinking, this is it. This is my forever. Things started changing slowly. So slowly I didn't even notice at first. Ricardo began working late more often. He was always on his phone, but he'd put it face down when I walked into the room. When I asked about his day, his answers got shorter, more distant. But I told myself he was just stressed with work. His company was growing. He had a lot on his plate. I was being paranoid, right? Then I got pregnant. We'd been trying for months, and when I saw those 2 lines on the test, I cried happy tears. Ricardo seemed excited too. He hugged me, kissed my forehead, said all the right things. But looking back now, I can see it. The hesitation in his eyes, the forced smile, the way he pulled away just a little too quickly. The pregnancy was hard. Morning sickness that lasted all day. Exhaustion like I'd never felt before. My body was changing in ways that scared me. I gained weight, my skin broke out, I didn't feel beautiful anymore. And Ricardo, he stopped looking at me the way he used to. He stopped touching me, stopped complimenting me. When I tried to talk to him about it, he said I was being hormonal, that I was imagining things. I wasn't imagining anything. Noah was born on a Tuesday morning in March. Labor was brutal. 16 hours of pain that I can still feel when I think about it too hard. But the moment they placed him in my arms, everything else disappeared. He was perfect. Tiny fingers, tiny toes, this little face that looked like both of us mixed together. I was exhausted, sore, emotional, but I was also happier than I'd ever been. Ricardo was there for the birth. He cut the umbilical cord, he held Noah, he took pictures, but something was off. He kept checking his phone, he seemed distracted, anxious. I thought maybe he was just overwhelmed. Becoming a father is a big deal, right? Maybe he just needed time to adjust. Here's where my floor dropped. It was my second day in the hospital. Noah was sleeping in the bassinet next to my bed. I was scrolling through my phone, trying to stay awake even though I was dead tired. Ricardo had gone to get coffee. His phone was on the chair next to me. It buzzed. I normally wouldn't look, but something made me glance over. The notification on the screen said, "Can't wait to see you tonight, baby." My heart stopped. I picked up his phone. My hands were shaking. The message was from someone saved as J in his contacts. I opened it. I know I shouldn't have, but I did. And what I found destroyed me. Messages going back months, flirty texts, I miss yous, pictures, plans to meet up. This wasn't just some casual thing. This was a relationship. While I was pregnant with his child, carrying our son, getting bigger and more uncomfortable every day, he was with someone else. Someone who probably had a flat stomach and clear skin and energy to go out at night. I scrolled through everything. My vision was blurry from tears. There were messages from the day I went into labor, the day our son was born. He was texting her while I was in pain, pushing our baby into the world. He was making plans to see her as soon as he could leave the hospital. And I just paid such a high price for loving someone who didn't deserve it. Ricardo came back with the coffee. He was smiling, acting normal, like everything was fine, like he was living a double life. I looked at him, and I didn't recognize the man standing in front of me. This wasn't the person I married. Or maybe it was, and I just never really knew him. "Who's Jay?" I asked. My voice was calm. Too calm. His face went white. The coffee cup almost slipped from his hand. He didn't even try to lie. Maybe he was tired of hiding it. Maybe he just didn't care anymore. He told me everything. Her name was Julia. They met at a conference 6 months ago. It just happened, he said, like he had no control over it, like he accidentally fell into bed with another woman repeatedly while his wife was home pregnant. He said he loved me, but he needed something different, something I couldn't give him anymore. He said I had changed, that pregnancy made me difficult, emotional, less attractive. He said Julia made him feel alive again, young, free. I just stared at him. I had just given birth to his child. I was sitting in a hospital bed, my body still recovering from literally creating a human being, and he was telling me I wasn't enough anymore, that I had changed too much, that he needed someone else. I told him to leave. He tried to argue, tried to say we should talk about this later when I was calmer, when I was thinking more clearly. Like I was the problem, like I was being irrational for being upset that my husband cheated on me while I was pregnant. He left, and I broke down. I cried so hard I couldn't breathe. A nurse came in to check on me and found me sobbing, holding Noah, feeling like my entire world had just collapsed. She didn't ask questions. She just sat with me. Sometimes that's all you need, someone to sit with you in the pain. The next few months were the hardest of my life. I went home from the hospital to an empty house. Ricardo moved out. He said he needed space to figure things out. Translation, he wanted to be with Julia without feeling guilty about it. I was alone with a newborn. No sleep, no help, no partner. Just me and Noah and this overwhelming fear that I couldn't do this by myself. Everyone tells you having a baby is beautiful and magical, but nobody tells you about the dark parts, the loneliness, the exhaustion that makes you feel like you're losing your mind, the moments when you're so tired you can't even cry anymore. My mom helped when she could, but she lived 2 hours away and had her own life. My friends tried to be there, but they didn't really get it. They didn't have kids. They couldn't understand what I was going through. So I figured it out alone. I learned to function on 2 hours of sleep. I learned to do everything one-handed while holding a baby. I learned to be stronger than I ever thought possible. And here's where it gets interesting. Around Noah's 4th month, something shifted in me. I was changing a diaper at 3 in the morning, running on caffeine and pure willpower, and I just thought, I'm done being sad. I'm done waiting for Ricardo to come back and fix this. I'm done feeling sorry for myself. This is my life now, and I can either let it break me or I can use it to build something better. I started planning, not just for survival, but for success. For revenge, if I'm being honest. The best kind of revenge. The kind where you don't need to do anything to hurt them because your success does it for you. Before Noah, I had been working at that marketing agency for 5 years. I was good at my job. Really good. I had ideas, creativity, drive. But I had always been too scared to do anything with it, too comfortable with a steady paycheck, too worried about failing. But now, I had nothing to lose. I had already lost everything that mattered to me. Or so I thought. What I didn't realize yet was that I had actually gained something. Freedom, motivation, a reason to prove everyone wrong. I started freelancing from home while Noah napped. Small projects at first. Logo designs, social media management, website copy. I reached out to every contact I had. I said yes to everything. I worked during nap times, after bedtime, sometimes through the night when Noah would only sleep if I was holding him. It was exhausting, but it was also exhilarating. The money started coming in. Not a lot at first, but enough to make me think maybe I could actually do this. Maybe I could build something real. I just didn't expect what came next. 6 months after Ricardo left, I registered my own company, Elisa Costa Marketing Solutions. It felt surreal typing my name like that, like I was pretending to be someone important. But I wasn't pretending. I was becoming that person. I hired a babysitter for a few hours a week so I could meet with clients. I invested every penny I made back into the business. Better website, better branding, better everything. I learned about SEO, email marketing, content strategy. I consumed every article, every video, every resource I could find. My first big client came through a referral, a local restaurant that needed a complete brand overhaul. They had a small budget, but they believed in me. I poured everything into that project. Late nights, detailed proposals, creative concepts I would have been too scared to pitch before. And it worked. They loved it. Their business grew. They referred me to other businesses. Word spread. Within a year, I had 10 regular clients. Within 2 years, I had 20. I hired 2 employees, then 5, then 10. My little home-based freelance gig turned into a real agency with an office and a team and steady growth. Noah was growing too. He started walking, talking, going to daycare. He was this happy, curious, loving little boy, and he was all mine. Yes, Ricardo paid child support when his lawyer forced him to, but he barely visited, maybe once a month if I was lucky. He had his new life with Julia. They got engaged, they posted pictures on social media looking so happy and perfect. And you know what? I didn't care anymore. I had stopped checking his profiles, stopped wondering what he was doing. I was too busy building my own life to worry about his. By the time Noah turned 3, my company was making more money than I ever made at my old job. Way more. I bought a house. Not huge, but mine. Ours. A backyard for Noah to play in, an office where I could work, a space that felt like home in a way our old apartment never did. I started dating again. Nothing serious, I wasn't ready for that, but I went out. I remembered what it felt like to be seen as a woman, not just a mom or a business owner. I remembered that I was still young, still attractive, still worthy of love, even if Ricardo made me feel like I wasn't. And then, exactly here, things got really interesting. Ricardo showed up at my office on a Tuesday afternoon. No warning, no text. He just walked in like he had every right to be there. I was in a meeting with a potential client, a big one, and my assistant told me someone was there to see me urgently. I excused myself, annoyed, and walked out to the reception area. There he was. He looked different, older, tired. The confidence he used to carry around like armor was gone. He looked at me, and I could see something in his eyes I'd never seen before. Regret. "Elisa," he said, "you look amazing." I did. I knew I did. I had lost the baby weight, plus more. I was wearing a designer dress I bought myself. My hair was done. My makeup was perfect. I looked like success, because I was successful. "What do you want, Ricardo?" I asked. I didn't have time for this. I had a client waiting. He asked if we could talk. I told him I was busy. He said it was important. I sighed and led him to my office. The office with my name on the door. The office with awards on the wall and a view of the city. I sat behind my desk, and he sat across from me like a client. The power dynamic had completely flipped. He told me he made a mistake, the biggest mistake of his life. He said Julia wasn't who he thought she was, that the excitement wore off and he realized what he gave up. He talked about Noah, how he regretted not being there, how he wanted to be a real father now, a real husband. "I was wrong," he said, "about everything. You're incredible, Elisa. Look at what you built. Look at who you've become. I want us to try again. I want our family back." I sat there listening to him, and I felt nothing. No anger, no sadness, no longing for what we used to have. Just nothing. And that's when I knew I had really moved on. "No," I said. He looked shocked, like he couldn't believe I was turning him down, like he thought showing up and admitting he was wrong would be enough. "I built this without you," I continued. "I raised our son without you. I survived the worst period of my life without you. I became this person you're looking at without you. Why would I go backward now?" He tried to argue, said people make mistakes, said everyone deserves a second chance, said he loved me. "You loved the idea of me when I was convenient, when I fit into your perfect picture. The moment I became difficult, the moment I needed support instead of just giving it, you left. You don't get to come back now that I don't need you anymore." I stood up. "I have a meeting to get back to. You can see yourself out." He left. I went back to my client and closed the deal. 6 figures, the biggest contract my company had landed so far. That night, I put Noah to bed and poured myself a glass of wine. I sat on my back porch looking at the stars, and I felt proud, not just of my business or my house or my bank account, proud of who I had become. The woman who didn't need a man to validate her, the woman who could fall apart and put herself back together stronger than before. Ricardo tried a few more times. Texts, calls. He even sent flowers to my office once. I ignored all of it. Eventually, he stopped. I heard through mutual friends that he and Julia broke up, that his business was struggling, that he was having a hard time. And I felt bad for him. Not bad enough to take him back, but bad in the way you feel bad for anyone who's suffering. He made his choices. Now he had to live with them. As for me, I kept building. My company kept growing. Noah started kindergarten. I met someone new, someone kind and patient, who loved me for who I am now, not who I used to be. I don't know if it'll last forever, but I'm not worried about that anymore. I learned that I'm complete on my own. Anything else is just extra. The revenge I wanted wasn't about hurting Ricardo. It was about proving to myself that I could survive without him, that his leaving wasn't the end of my story, just the end of a chapter. The best chapters came after. People ask me sometimes how I did it, how I managed to raise a child alone and build a successful business at the same time. The truth is, I don't really know. I just did what I had to do, one day at a time. one small win at a time. Some days I barely made it. Some days I cried myself to sleep. But I kept going. Because that's what you do when you don't have a choice. You keep going. And eventually, you look back and realize how far you've come. You realize that the thing you thought would destroy you actually made you stronger. Noah is 6 now. He's smart, funny, compassionate. He doesn't remember the early days when it was just me and him against the world, but I tell him stories sometimes, age-appropriate versions, about how his mom built something from nothing, about how being knocked down isn't the same as being knocked out. My company has 30 employees now. We've won industry awards. We work with major brands. I get invited to speak at conferences. Me, the girl who used to be too scared to start her own business, the woman who got abandoned in a hospital bed with a newborn. Look at me now. Ricardo pays child support, but he's still barely around. Noah asks about him sometimes. I never talk bad about his father, even though I could. I just say that sometimes adults make choices that are hard to understand, but it doesn't mean they don't love you. I don't know if that's true in Ricardo's case, but it's what Noah needs to hear. The woman I am now wouldn't recognize the woman I was 5 years ago. That Elisa was dependent, insecure. She needed validation from someone else to feel worthy. This Elisa knows her worth. She doesn't need anyone to tell her she's enough. She knows it. And that's the real revenge. Not making him jealous, not making him regret. Just becoming so complete in yourself that his opinion doesn't matter anymore. That his presence or absence doesn't change your value. If you're going through something similar right now, if someone made you feel like you're not enough, hear me. You are enough. More than enough. The person who couldn't see that, that's their loss, not yours. Use that pain. Let it fuel you. Build something so beautiful out of your broken pieces that you can't even recognize the person you used to be. It won't be easy. There will be days when you want to give up, when you feel like you can't do it alone. But you can. You're stronger than you think. And on the other side of that pain is a version of you that's more powerful than you ever imagined. My story isn't over. I'm still growing, still learning, still becoming. But I'm doing it on my terms now, nobody else's. And that's the sweetest victory of all. There's more coming soon. Don't forget to like and subscribe.